What do you say? What do you know? It's the full Monty Sports Show. It is Monday, January 24th, 2022. I am your host, Monty Perez, aka the Sports Whisperer. Want to thank everyone for tuning in on Saturday. Thank everyone for tuning in on Saturday. We had 35 states watch the full Monty Sports Show live Saturday before the playoff games. And I'm just going to keep this round of applause up here because this was the best weekend of football I have ever seen in my entire life. Best weekend of football I've ever seen in my entire life. We're going to get Brad Ward on. Unfortunately, Amarie had to cancel the last minute. She wishes everyone well. She's our co-host, part of the Three Musketeers here. We won't be on next week, but we will be on the following Monday, Super Bowl preview. I'm going to be doing a bunch of shows. And, of course, we'll be live Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And then the following week, Super Bowl Sunday, live 11 a.m. Eastern as well. You can follow me on all sorts of social media. Having a little problems with Twitter, as most of you know. My Twitter account, I don't know if it got hacked into or whatever, but right now I'm under suspension. I never curse on social media. I never drink on social media. I never threaten anyone. Apparently, I posted a Trey Young video, not even a video, just a clip that I recorded off my TV, and that violated some sort of trademark agreement. So I'm in, I had over 16,000 followers on Twitter, trying to start over. We'll see what happens with that. But follow me on social media on Twitter, Monty Perez 14, and on TikTok, Monty Perez 231. So before we get Brad Ward on, I'm just going to start with this. So on Sunday, my TikTok page got about 25,000 views. Don't have a lot of followers on there. I have about 500. I've been posting consistently sports clips for about 2 months, one or two sports clips a day. That was my goal. My goal was to have 250,000 views by February 1st. I don't know if I'm going to get that because right now, as you can see, the full Monty Sports Show has 186,000 views on TikTok. 186,000 views. But why am I bringing this up? I'm not bringing this up to impress you. I'm not bringing it up to brag. I got a lot of work to do when it comes to TikTok. I'm still learning how to use it. But the amount of trolls that came out because I posted a video of my show on Saturday saying that the Packers would win. Now, look, I don't care if you disagree with me. I don't have yes men on my show. Greg argues with me all the time. He's a frequent guest. Brad and I disagree all the time. Who cares? It's not about being right. It's about being entertaining, expressing your opinion. Yes, I have strong opinions because I do a lot of research. I listen to radio stations all across the country. I've learned more this year listening to Brad's show about the Cleveland Browns than I used to do listening to ESPN in Cleveland. I learned more about the Vikings listening to Amarie, her podcast, and what she does than listening to ESPN in Minnesota. So when you attack me on social media, I really don't care. But some of these comments, someone said, shoot yourself in the face because I picked the Packers. Another guy said I should be fired from Nuts and Bolts Sports. I should never talk about sports again. Let me just back up and say this for all the haters out there. On my show on Sunday, I pick every game except what the guests are picking. So, for example, if Brad's coming on, I know he's going to talk about the Cleveland Browns. I'm not going to talk about the Cleveland Browns and pick that game. If Amarie comes on or Greg, they're talking about the Vikings. They're talking about the Cowboys. Rico talks about the Steelers. Most shows, for example, Colin Cowherd, he does his Blazing Five. He picks 5 games a week. I pick every game every week. I was 168 and 60. I was 168 and 60 on the year. In the playoffs that have been insane, I'm 8 and 2. I'm 8 and 2. Picking games on my show. So yes, I picked the Packers. San Francisco won by a field goal. And I don't care if you want to mock me, but when you start saying shoot yourself, F your family, get a life, dude. Get a life. I'm going to quote the movie Rocky here. When the bartender says, Rocky, you're not happy with your life. It's not. It's nice. Me, I got a business to run. And Rocky gets all offended. Business is good. 186,000 views in 2 months. So keep hating on me. I don't care. You're getting me more views. But can you not be such a loser where you're dropping F bombs, where you're telling me to shoot myself, hang myself, kill my family because I picked the Packers over the 49ers? It's not my fault you're bitter. It's not my fault you haven't satisfied a woman in 10 years. I know you're angry, but I'm just doing a show here, guys. It's for entertainment. But if you want to come at me and say I don't know what I'm talking about, 168 and 60 picking games, 8 and 2, 80%. Mocking me is not going to get your high school girlfriend back. Mocking me is not going to get you a woman. Mocking me is not going to get you out of the trailer park. Enough said. Okay, let's bring Brad Ward on. Brad's laughing hysterically. How are you, Brad?
I'm good. That was great. Satisfy a woman in 10 years.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
exactly. It's not my fault that you peaked in high school. Okay,
Yes.
so let's move on. All right, Brad. I don't know about you, but this was the most exciting weekend of football I've ever seen in my life. So much to get to, but let's start with this. I want to get your opinion because I picked the Chiefs to win. I don't think a game in the playoffs or the regular season, when it's tied, should be determined by a coin toss. I had a bunch of people here. I said to my dad, my brother, a friend of my dad's, I said, it's over. Chiefs are going to go down. The Buffalo Bills were exhausted. So how would you change overtime, or would you change it?
Yeah, I think it's gonna change. I really do. I think that they're going to. I have a couple ideas, but first of all, I think what we're gonna see is what probably pretty much everybody thinks. First of all, before I even get into this, Monty, you don't know you're doing a good job until people start talking to you like that.
Yeah,
That's the
exactly.
truth. Like you
Exactly.
know you're doing a good job when you can inspire that kind of anger.
I
So
mean, but
so
again, I can
kudos
tell.
to you.
But even the people who are like, "Hey, man, how you feel?" I responded. I said, "Great win, congratulations." But when you're like, "You want to shoot me because I picked the
Yeah.
Packers?" Get a life.
It is what it is, man. You just gotta that comes with the territory, right? So just just take it as a compliment. That's how I look at it, right? If you inspire that kind of fury, then you're doing a good job. Uh, but yeah, so I do think they will go to this where both teams are going to have to touch the ball no matter what, right? So they're going to say even if a team goes down and scores a touchdown, then the other team is going to get a chance to answer that touchdown, right? And I think that's okay. I can live with that. But ultimately, what that's going to lead to, Monty, is this, right? And this is why I think they should change this rule. I think they should do away with the coin toss, okay? And I think that the home team should get the ball in overtime. Because what that will do is, it will now you know what to expect, right? So the way that coaches play the end of a game in the NFL will change completely, right? Because you know who's getting the ball first in the NFL. If you know your defense can't stop anybody, maybe you go for two when you're tying the game at the end of the game, right? So it changes that strategy. And then also in overtime, now if a team like the Chiefs go down and score, Buffalo goes down and scores and they answer, if they get once they score, they have to make that decision at that point, right? Okay, it goes to sudden death after that, right? So after each team gets one possession, if they come up tied still, then it goes to immediate sudden death. So now you decide, do you want to kick it away, right? And try to stop them, or do you go for two in the win? And I think ultimately that will be the end of the game, is if it makes it that far that a team matches touchdowns, it'll either be a 2-point conversion, or you say, hey, I think my defense can stop them from kicking a field goal, which is probably unlikely, and analytics will probably go against that for most coaches.
Okay, just so people know, if you're watching on your phone, there is a poll question. Should the NFL change OT? So make sure to vote on that. Talking with Brad Ward here on the Full Monty Sports Show. Make sure to give us a thumbs up and subscribe. Okay, so Brad, here's my idea for overtime.
Yeah.
This is how you just, first of all, it's 15 minutes. I've had people say it should be 8 minutes, 10 minutes, but I've seen 9-minute drives. They kick a field goal, the game would be over. So my thought process is first, in playoffs, after it's tied up, go to your locker room for 15 minutes. I don't want to hear the game's too long. I didn't want that game to end last night. Okay, so I didn't care what time it was.
Well, okay, I saw you write that in the questions. Here's my only issue with that. There's a built-in break. There's a built-in commercial break.
Right.
There's all the hoopla. I mean, I going to the locker room for 15 minutes will kill all momentum in the game completely.
Well,
And it's not like it's a halftime scenario. This is extra time added on just to decide. They don't do that in basketball. They don't do that in any other
right, but
sport. I'm not cool with that.
here's why I would do it. I'm going to give you the whole scenario, then you can pick it apart. So
Sure.
you take 15 minutes off because whoever got the ball yesterday, we knew was going to win. Those defenses were exhausted. If Buffalo won the toss, game over. They're coming down. They couldn't stop. So let's
Okay.
give both teams a chance to reset. So you have 15 minutes in the locker room. You come out. This is how you decide who gets the ball first. 50-yard field goal. You put your defense on. The home team kicks first. If they make the 50-yard field goal, okay, the other team gets a shot to do it. If they make it, you keep going until someone misses. Now, if there's a holding penalty, the field goal's no good. If there's an offside, the field goal's good. You play 15 minutes. Then, if it's a tie at the end of that game, again, field goal kick at 50 yards to see who gets the ball. Not a coin toss, leaving it to chance. You're putting some skill in there. Then it's sudden death. What do you feel about that?
I think it's too much.
Okay.
I think the field goal thing, I think that would become a bit of a spectacle a little bit. I like to involve kickers less in the game, if possible, not more. Just personal preference.
Okay.
Not a fan of kickers.
I get that. But my thing is, it may not be but I don't want a coin toss luck to decide it.
Okay, and neither do I, and that's why I said I think that it will change the way that strategy goes at the end of the game completely, because there should be no coin toss, right? Okay. You do a coin toss at the beginning of the game, but deciding overtime, it's too much. Home team gets the ball first. Both teams are guaranteed a possession, right? So the team's driving down the
15
field.
minutes.
Time should have nothing to do with it. Okay. In the regular season, yeah, sure, 15 minutes. But in when it really matters in the playoffs, there should be no clock, I don't think. Right? Okay. Because you're just playing until a team outscores the other. So one team goes down to scores, whether it be a field goal or a touchdown. The other team then gets to possess the ball, kick off to them. Okay. Or if they stop them and they punt, right? That's their possession. At that point, it's sudden death. So if you stop them and you get the ball, say the Bills stopped them, they get the ball, at that point it's sudden death. They have their chance. You can kick a field goal and win now or score. If they score a touchdown, though, like yesterday, the Bills are guaranteed to get a chance to get the kickoff, drive down, and score. Yeah, now, if they do, after that point, it's sudden death. So at that point, as a coach, you got to make the decision. If I kick off to Mahomes, is he going to go down and get in field goal range and they're going to kick the field goal and win the game, right? Probably. So I'm probably going for 2 here to try to win the game. So I think it ends there, and that way you're not playing forever, right? Because you got to bring player safety into this at some point too.
I think fundamentally we agree. We're reaching the same point. You're just going this way. I'm going this way. Okay.
Yeah.
So along these same lines, I'm tired of this philosophy: defense wins championships. Let's forget about college football, because the average college football score in the national championship game over the last decade is over 35 points. I don't have this memorized, so I'm going to look down here. These are the scores from the winning Super Bowl team. Baltimore, 34. Seattle, 43. New England, 28. Denver, 24. New England, 34. Philly, 41. New England, 13. KC, 31. Tampa, 31. The Bills were the number one defense in yards in almost every category. They gave up 42 points. So my question to you, Brad, is this is not, Monte, you got to play defense, you got to run the ball. No, you don't. Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen are magicians, okay? They could do whatever they want. Justin Herbert can do almost anything he wants. How do we make it fair for the defense? Because everything has changed for the offense. Again, those numbers, 41, 34, 43, 31, 31. Don't tell me defense wins championships. They don't. It's unfair for the defense. Look what happened yesterday. They couldn't stop anyone. How do you make it fair? What rules? What do you change in the NFL?
But Monty, they've been making rules this way for some time because it's all about the mighty dollar, right? And what draws people to watch, and what people wanted to watch in that game was a high scoring 25 points in the last 2 minutes. They're not going to do anything to make it fair for the defense because this is what they want. They want high scoring. Now, I will say this though. There are other games you can look to in this, divisional round. San Francisco, Green Bay, weather played a factor, I know, but where defense played a big factor in the game. So it's not like defense doesn't matter at all. It certainly matters.
Of course.
Right? But it's not, yeah, I agree. It's not defense wins championships. It's probably the best quarterback wins the championship, is be the best phrase, right? Or the best offense at this point. But that's just because that's the way the NFL wants it, Monty. That's the way they've groomed it. They've made these rules so that the offense can excel, right? They've turned it. They want to see basketball on grass is what they want, really.
Okay,
And
so Brad,
and that's what they got some of.
okay, so then I come back with this: if I'm a high school player, and I go to college, I mean, we all heard the story about Diggs when he went to Alabama. He was a wide receiver, and he cried when Nick Saban made him a defensive back. What's my motivation as a 5-star athlete to play defense?
Because you can be, I don't know. There's just as many defensive superstars as there's offensive superstars in the NFL.
But here's the thing: Aaron Donald.
Guys get paid just as much money to play defense as they do to get to play offense.
Aaron Donald is probably the greatest defensive player I've ever seen, maybe besides Lawrence Taylor. And Aaron Donald hasn't won a championship. They did a stat a few years ago about T.J. Watt. T.J. Watt's most dominant games, he was under 500.
But it's a team sport, though, Monty. It's a team sport.
Here's my point, though. Deshaun Watson in that same realm, his most dominant games, they were like 13-2. It's not fair for the defense.
I think a good defense and a good defensive coordinator can go out and shut down a good offense given the right circumstance. Like, okay. I don't think that Kansas City is unstoppable. I think that I think the Rams would give them a lot of problems on defense.
Okay, but all I'm saying is I understand where you're coming from. I'm saying even if you have an elite defense, the Bills were number 1 in defense, and Mahomes drops 42 on them.
Yes.
So
and a lot of that happened in the last 2 minutes. Let's be real.
Right, but it still happened. He still put up 42 points. So my question to you is, you're saying they're never going to make it fair
Is that a problem you're saying? Like, that's a problem? 42 points is the issue? That's the problem with you? But defense still matters. Defense still, as a NFL football player, as a football player growing up all the way to the NFL, you still need good defenders, whether they're scoring 42 points or not. Whether you score 50 or 42 depends on the defense.
Okay, so you're saying they're never. I'm saying you got to make it somewhat even, because we're going to see. We're going to see college now. It's going to be like college. Every college national championship with the 2 best teams over the last decade, the average winning score is over 35 points. I just gave you the Super Bowl. It's the same thing.
But that's what they want, though. They don't want a 13-10 national championship game. Nobody does, right? Definitely the TV companies in the NFL doesn't, right? They want some points to be scored. That's why the rules are the way they are. You can't touch a quarterback anymore. You can barely even push him after the play, right? You touch a guy when he's even near the sidelines. Doesn't matter if he's running 100 miles an hour. That's a 15-yard penalty. It's crazy, right? You can't hit a wide receiver when he goes over the middle. They used to decapitate people in the 90s. Come on.
Now, listen, everything you're saying is right. I'm just trying. And again, I'm an offensive-minded guy. I coach both sides of the ball, but I always knew come the last 2 minutes, we're outscoring people. That was my philosophy. All right. So if I'm Russell Wilson now, right, I look at what the NFC West did this year. I look at the 2 NFC championships. What is he? He's got to leave, right? There's no way he stays with the 1980s offense and Pete Carroll.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but it's not good. He can't be happy, and they've regressed huge there. They're not the same as they were. I still have a great deal of respect for Pete Carroll, so it's not so much an indictment on him, really. It's just he's got to get out of there, right? Like, it needs a new voice, a new situation, a new everything, right? I wouldn't be surprised if the Steelers make a run at him. Isn't that what Amarie said too?
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I'm hearing the Steelers are going after Mariota.
y-
That's what I heard.
okay,
But
okay,
yeah, I mean,
that's
that's an
interesting.
upgrade.
Hey, as a Browns fan, I'd rather see Mariota go to there than
Of
Russell
course.
Wilson. That's for sure. So yeah, I mean, there's a number of places that he could go, I think, and be successful. Obviously. And I think that'll be interesting. I think this offseason is to be extremely interesting, especially the way Rodgers answered questions in that press conference yesterday too, because he seems like he wanted out as well.
I mean, my friend Andrea said something to me, and we'll get to that game in about 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah,
But she said, and a lot of people have been saying this on social media, Aaron Rodgers really didn't care either way whether he won or lost that game. And I don't know if that's true. I'm going to get into my own version of, as a Packer fan, I want Aaron Rodgers to leave. I'm sick and tired of his BS. It has nothing to do with him not getting vaccinated. It has nothing to do with him, not trusting the media, the government, whatever. I don't care about all that crap. What I care about, plain and simple, is the fact that Aaron Rodgers, he doesn't trust the media. He doesn't trust his teammates. He doesn't talk to his family. This guy's all about him. And we see it time after time again. If a player drops a pass, the tight end fumbled, and then Aaron Rodgers only looks for Adams, someone he trusts. He doesn't, how many times have we seen Tom Brady, Drew Brees? We saw it yesterday with Josh Allen going to his third wide receiver who scored 4 touchdowns. Emmanuel Sanders wasn't even part of the game plan yesterday. Stephon Diggs didn't have a great game. How many times do we see Tom Brady on a big third down go to who's ever open? Aaron Rodgers, it's Devontae Adams, and he can't adjust. He just sits there. He pouts. He'll hold the ball. He will not trust any wide receiver. But this is his DNA, right? Don't trust anyone. It's all about me. Only I can do this, which is not true. So when I'm watching the Packers yesterday, and I see Aaron Rodgers after, he wasn't even upset. You're the number 1 seed. You're now 11-10 in the playoffs, and you don't give a rat's ass. Like, he doesn't care.
Yeah. He looked very aloof all day,
Yeah.
did he not?
Yeah,
Like,
yes, he did.
even throughout the game, he looked very aloof, and it was off-putting, really, to see a guy in that situation show no emotion at all, really, and I think it's just time for him to leave. More than anything, I think he's was annoyed, by the fact that, and I don't know why he shouldn't have felt this way because he only put one touchdown on the board. So let's be real, okay?
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
not like you put up 35 points and you lost or anything. He had plenty of situations to extend the lead, and he failed to do so. But I think that they put pressure on him. It became a close game. The Green Bay special teams has been a disaster all year. So, and the fact that they lost a playoff game on special teams is absurd, right? But, you could see that he was just so frustrated. He just are you kidding me? We're going to lose on special teams. And I get that that's how he feels, but really, he shouldn't. You could see that in his face almost are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? This is how
He
this
has
ends,
the
right?
ultimate pouting face when things
Yes.
go bad. Where Tom
But
Brady
really,
gets pissed.
he had nobody to blame but himself because they
Himself.
had plenty of situations. And after the game was tied, he got a chance to go down the field and take the lead.
And
And
he
it wasn't him. It was Jimmy freaking Garoppolo that led his team down the field and won the game. So
Okay.
that's
Let's-
on him.
We'll get into that. That was a little preview. Thank you, Brad. But let's go in chronological order here. The 2 games I lost and the 2 that I'm most bitter about are the Titans and the Packers. Want to start with the Titans. One of the things that, before we get into anything else, Joe Burrow is as cool as the other side of the pillow. Think about this, Brad. And I wish I tried to look it up. I couldn't find it. He got sacked 9 times, Brad.
Yeah.
9 times. He didn't fumble once.
No.
You figure at least once he would fumble the ball, right? And
Yeah.
he got his ass kicked. He kept getting up. He did not rush. He did not have happy feet. Joe Burrow is a badass. But, Brad, 9 sacks, and he doesn't fumble.
9 sacks, and he was, it was something absurd. 28 of 37 for 348 yards and one interception, 9 sacks, and he goes 28 to 37. That's like I saw it before. It was like 70 some percent. I mean, that's ridiculous, right? He has the it factor, right? Like, and it's not just what it's done is it's taken the Bengals and like elevated I truly believe that it's Joe Burrow that has elevated that entire organization, right? It's like his belief, his moxie, his, him talking and saying that like once they're in the playoffs, hey, we might as well go for it, right? Like, why not us, right? He was saying, and they believe him. They follow him. He is the ultimate leader. He has that it factor. He has that like that Joe Montana feeling, like that he's going to deliver in the clutch, right? Like you just know it. And he's really, really special, and he was tremendous in this game. They caused him all kinds of problems. The sacks, and you know what? So a lot of the sacks were on him. It wasn't all on his offensive line.
He held the ball a little too much.
He did. And the Titans did a good job. They took his first read away immediate, like all the time, right? And so a lot of times he got caught holding the ball, trying to look to the second, third read, whatever, and they were able to get pressure on him. Made Simmons look like a freaking Hall of Famer, right? But like he adjusted. He made the adjustment. Despite the sacks, despite them taking his first read away, he still stayed calm, cool, collected, and made the throws he had to make. Put him in position to win that game. And you got to give credit to the Bengals defense. And this is what I'm talking about. It's a collective feeling like he brings, right? Like Mike Hilton, what a pickup from the Steelers, right? Like that guy made play after play after play. Incredible play to cause tip pass, turnover, and get the ball to get in field goal range in the last second there. Tannehill was god-awful in this game. He was really bad. I mean, it's hard for them to be. I don't know how they feel about Tannehill after this, but he was very bad. And then also, I would say that I would question this, right? Coach of the Year, Mike Vrabel. This will be my last thought on this game, and I'll let you talk, Monty. They bring back Derrick Henry, right? Is it just me, or did he really lack burst? Acceleration. He didn't look like he was 100%. And when they put Deontay Foreman in the game, there was a visible difference in his burst and acceleration. Why not give him the ball more? He looked so much better than Henry, and it cost him on a fourth down when he got caught in the backfield. I thought Foreman ran the ball much better. I would have been giving him the ball more than Henry in that game.
Great point, because Henry just looked sluggish as hell. Foreman had pop to him. He was running. A couple things I want to talk about this game. First of all, I know this is going to I would rather take Justin Herbert over Burrow. And that's not disrespecting Burrow. I think Burrow and Herbert and Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes, they're going to be battling out for the next decade if they all stay healthy. But you bring up a point about just Joe Burrow that, let's be honest. The Cincinnati Bengals are one of the worst organizations historically, right? Up until like 1990, their players during practice and training camp had to drink out of a water fountain. They didn't even have water bottles.
They still don't have an indoor facility, Monty.
Yes, they practiced outdoors in the freezing cold. But the Rangers bought Mark Messier. I grew up a hockey fan. The Rangers didn't win a cup from 1940. Mark Messier comes in, and his just leadership, his belief, his will to win. I'm not comparing Joe Burrow to Mark Messier, but this kid is a natural-born leader. He was rejected by Ohio State. He goes to LSU. He comes to Cincinnati, and he's got a little cockiness to him, which I like. He's got a little swag, and he's like, "Why not us? Why not?" When your team has failed for so long, and then you bring a different mindset, like the Rangers since 1940, Mark Messier comes in and does the improbable. 54 years later, they win a cup. Joe Burrow, to me, is really a guy that for the next 10 years, he could win 2 or 3 rings in Cincinnati.
Yeah, I
Now,
mean, it's scary, right? It's scary. You said you. I just want to go back to something you said. You said you would rather have Herbert over him. Just
I think
going
I
back
would.
there.
Yeah, I think I would.
It's an
Okay,
interesting
and
take.
again, that's just because I followed Herbert. It's 1A, 1B, right? You know,
Yeah,
it's like LeBron James and pick someone who's an elite basketball player. Okay,
sure.
so I want to talk about Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah,
Um, Ryan Tannehill is scheduled to make over $50 million over the next 2 years. When they were down in the goal line, I said to my dad, they better not throw it here. Do not let Ryan Tannehill make a play. And what does he do? At the goal line, throws it right into the guy's hands. He had 3 interceptions. All they needed to do at the end of the game, they're at the 40-yard line, just get a first down. If not, punt it and play for overtime. He throws another interception. This guy is terrible. He is terrible. He benefited from Henry and a great running game. And this is why I say all the time, and people still argue with me on social media. My friend Jared texts me watching the Bills Kansas City game. He's a San Francisco 49er fan. He goes, man, it must be so nice to have an elite quarterback. Joe Burrow gets sacked 9 times. He outplays the veteran. Ryan Tannehill looked like a deer in headlights. They were the #1 seed. And even with the Packers started off well, and you thought, yeah, they may win. After the first 5 minutes, you never thought that Tennessee was going to win the game.
no, no. It was a feeling you had the whole time, right? And yeah, I just think he has excelled on the back of Henry being able to run the football, a pretty good defense, and a play action passing. Like, he is a very good, he has enough arm talent and has been able to find success in the play action pass game. And when you take that away from him, as you saw in this game, and try to make him throw into tight windows and make difficult throws that you have to make in the divisional round of a playoff game, he's unable to do it.
Yeah, he's unable to do it. And thank you, Jersey girl, because anytime I say LeBron James, someone's got to take a shot. So thank you because I always talk about him. So thank you very much for that. I appreciate that. Okay, Brad, I'll start with this. The Green Bay Packers. Listen, I know that the special teams gave up a punt for a touchdown. I know that they blocked a field goal. But when the push comes to shove, your offense at home scored 7 points. And think about how bad it was for Aaron Rodgers, how horrible he played. They scored on the opening drive. And if it wasn't for that blown coverage, which, by the way, if he leads Aaron Jones, that's a touchdown. He threw the ball 5 yards behind him. He had to wait at the end of the half.
And Aaron Jones also a good. Let me make this point real quick while you said it, and I'll let you go. A good running back scores on that play.
Right.
An elite running back, the Nick Chubbs, Jonathan Taylors, Dalvin Cooks of the world, I believe, score on that play. I don't know what he was doing, but it looked like he throttled down to like 90% to cut back. But you can't. It doesn't work that way. He needed to accelerate to the sideline. I think he outrun somebody, but either he didn't believe he had the speed or not. But a good back would have taken that to the house, in my opinion.
I agree with what you're saying. I think Aaron Jones is a good back. I don't think he's an elite back. Okay.
Right.
So, and here's what I'm going to say. Like, people were killing me on social media. They're like, "Oh, did Aaron Rodgers get the punt block? Did he miss the field goal?" He scored 7 points at home.
No, but yeah, he didn't play well at all.
He played horrible. And when they needed him most, before the block punt on the 3rd down, there's no pressure on him. Cobb's wide open on the sideline. His boy, he throws it at his feet. Then when it's tied up and you need a first down, he throws 2 horrible passes to Devontae Adams, not even close.
Yeah,
Aaron
and the penalty
Rodgers
was his fault too because he held it for like 7 seconds. He gets the ineligible man downfield. Yeah, it was a really bad. It was bad. He was not good in the clutch. He seemed out of sorts all day. They were able to get pressure on him, and he seemed distraught. Like he seemed like he just didn't look like himself. A guy that's been calm and cool and looked like an MVP all year. Looked everything but on Sunday,
He during the
Saturday.
all season, someone hits him, he's laughing. Now he's like he's not talking to anyone on the sideline. I don't know if
Yep.
you saw it, but one of the coaches is talking to him, and he has his tablet, and he's talking to Rodgers in the third quarter, and this is Rodgers, not even
Yeah.
looking at him.
Yeah.
Like the body language. If that's Tom Brady and Tom Brady's not scoring, he's looking at it, he's smashing it, he's going crazy. Aaron Rodgers is just like, yeah, whatever. This loss falls 100% on Aaron Rodgers. You cannot score 7 points at home. I don't give a rat's ass that you gave up a block punt and you missed a field goal. You're the number one seed. You're the MVP. Score some damn points.
Yeah, I totally agree. And you know what? I feel like it's hard to say this, but I picked Green Bay in this game, and I felt like they were the better team. You picked San Francisco, didn't you?
No, I picked Green Bay. I
Oh, you
lost.
did.
I'm
Okay.
8-2. I lost Green Bay and I lost the Titans.
Um, we gotta have a crazy conversation about Jimmy Garoppolo, and I wanted to mention this. What are they gonna do? All right, so it's not like he didn't do anything to necessarily wow anybody. He went through a really bad interception in the first half, right, and stuff. But if you look at his body of work and just winning, right, winning, he has played 2 full seasons from start to end. In both of those seasons, his team has gone to the NFC Championship game, one of which already the Super Bowl, and he's still alive this year. In games that he started overall, he's won 70% of them. And it's clear that he's not an elite quarterback, right? But the guy just wins. Like, they just win with him. And I don't know if that's Shanahan or what. I'm sure some of that is him. Shanahan does a good job. But he came up clutch at the end. Deebo Samuel is a really, really special player. He made a lot of mistakes early, but he stayed in it, right? He stayed in it mentally. And I don't know. I mean, what do you do? What if they go win the Super Bowl, Monty? What do you do with? They just invested 3 first-round picks. You're in the NFC Championship game. You got Trey Lance on the sideline. What do you do? What do you do with him?
Well, I mean, just going off my friend Jared, who knows more about the 49ers than anyone, he wants it. He doesn't care what happens. He wants it easy. I mean, Jimmy G threw a bad interception at the end of the half. He did that against Dallas. He threw that terrible interception. I think they're winning despite him. Like, I think Justin Herbert was winning
I would
despite his
agree.
coach. I think that Shanahan is winning despite Jimmy G. When he threw, I said this last week, when he threw that interception in Dallas, Kyle Shanahan was like this, and you could tell he was like, what is this MFer doing? Like, he
Yeah.
was so mad. Jimmy G makes those big plays, and again, all he had to do was hit that wide receiver in the Super Bowl, and he overshot him by 10 yards. The Chiefs get the ball back, and they score and they win. I don't know what you do, because what happens if he wins the NFC Championship?
I know. I know. It's
What do you
just
do?
crazy. It's just crazy. I know that he makes those mistakes, and it's so clear that he's not like a top 5, top 10 quarterback. But they win. But they always win. And I know it's like they're winning despite him, yes. But he does have his moments where he looks very good. And then he has moments where he looks awful and he makes some bad decisions. But it's just I don't know. They invested so much in Trey Lance. And here they are again, looking like they're going to, maybe go to the Super Bowl. Probably not. But it's still, they won the game on special teams. I mean, it's crazy, right? Like, you win a divisional game on a blocked punt and a blocked field goal, really. Your only touchdown was scored on a blocked punt. It's remarkable. It's a really crazy
Amazing,
story.
because if you would tell me that a team's going to win on special teams, I'm going to go back to Desmond Howard with the Packers when they played the Patriots, kickoff return, punt return. You don't think a blocked field goal and a blocked punt wins it. But I will say, of course, my friend Jared, I will say this. Okay, so I'm going to compare Jimmy G to Jared Goff. Jared Goff got to a Super Bowl, couldn't win. Sean McVay was like, we need to get this guy out of town. I think that Shanahan, LaFleur, McVay are such geniuses, they can win with anyone. So is that a fair comparison, Jared Goff to Jimmy
Yeah.
G? He'll win you a lot of games, but when you need a Patrick Mahomes type or a Josh Allen type or even an Aaron Rodgers on most days, you're never going to get that from Jimmy G. Do you have
You,
confidence with 2 minutes left that Jimmy G has to throw for 80 yards to score a game-winning field goal?
oh, he did it in this game.
Well, his stats were horrible.
But he came up. I mean, he did drive down the field to a game-winning field goal. I mean, he put a seed right on Debo Samuel and then took him down the field. I'm just saying, man. I think here's the thing, though. I don't, and maybe because it's a lack of a quarterback, but Shanahan doesn't really like win like that. That's not the way he wins. He doesn't really want to win throwing it all over the place. He wants to run it down your throat, right?
Right.
And then he's very, very creative with making all of his plays look the same and little wrinkles off of it. He will out scheme you. Question: did you hear yesterday them talking about him having 24 scripted plays, Money?
Yeah, that was unbelievable. 24 to
Wait,
start the game. How do you
hold
do
on.
that?
Wait a minute. They didn't score a touchdown on offense, okay? So at what point do you just throw the scripted plays out the freaking window and say, this isn't working anymore? And plus, you don't even run your scripted plays when you're in the red zone. So is that like the whole game he's scripting out? That makes
It
no
was
sense
so
to me.
bizarre, and like I said, normally like Sean McVay or even well coached teams like Andy Reid, when they script the plays, they get the ball to start the half or start the second half. They're getting a field goal and touchdown. And this is what he scripted 24 plays, and this is what I said on my show. I said the Green Bay Packers defensively are not going to get pushed around by the San Francisco 49ers.
No.
Green Bay Packer defense played lights out. Lights out.
Yeah.
They didn't
Yep.
give up. They gave up 6 points, basically, right? They gave up six
Yeah.
points. So,
How about the play, though? I mean, talk about creative stuff. How about Trent Williams in motion?
oh, yeah.
The left tackle, the monstrous left tackle in motion coming across the line and just destroying the whole right side of the field. That was fantastic. I love that. I've never seen that before. Maybe back to the wing tee, but
Yeah.
I haven't seen it. I mean, that was crazy, right? But that's kind of the stuff that Shanahan does. And we have a family friend that plays for the Niners. I've told you this before. Kyle Juszczyk. My
Yes.
dad coached him in
Yep.
high school. He went to Harvard, and he took my dad out to. He's had my mom and my dad out to a Pro Bowl. They took him to the Super Bowl when they went. So yeah, he's an Ohio boy and close family friend Kyle Juszczyk. So they're back in the NFC Championship. So that's cool. Obviously, we're pulling for them.
And all 49ers love him as a player. The days of the fullback are few and far between. Okay, let's switch here to everyone wanted to see Tom Brady lose. We know this. But I got to tell you, man, this game, and people were like trying to blame Sean McVay. You fumble at the 1 yard line. You fumble at the end of the game. You miss a field goal by like a foot. It doesn't even hit the crossbar. And I got to give all the credit in the world to Tom Brady before we talk about the Rams, because this guy was down and out. They could have packed it in. And again, he just finds Gronk making big catches. I don't know what the hell Jalen Ramsey was doing on that long touchdown. It's like he quit on Mike Evans. But Tom Brady comes back. Brad, this was one of the most emotional games I've ever seen, because I'm like, it's over. Then I'm like, oh, my God, Brady's going to do it again.
Yeah, and that's when it was 27-20, you knew they were going to tie the game once they got the ball back, right? Like, you knew that was a foregone conclusion. Stafford played a hell of a game here, though. I mean, let's be real. The Bucs got their ass kicked in this game. They really did. They had no business being in this game. 4 fumbles, right? I think that's right, isn't it? 4 fumbles given away by the Rams. In ridiculous fashion, tried to give it back to them, but and then on top of all things, the worst thing, and I've gone crazy on the show before cussing people out for this, but he did. Todd Bowles did it. He did it again. Let's go cover 0, blitz everybody, and let Cooper Kupp, the best wide receiver in football, get behind you to win the game like a jackass. Completely inexcusable. I don't know what the hell they were doing there, but that is so inexcusable. Like, what are you doing? Like, what? How do you let that? He left him one-on-one with a safety. Unbelievable. Just inexcusable. Like, Brady, if I was him, I would I mean, you fight all the way back to get in that position, and then you give up that play. How do you possibly let anyone behind you in that situation?
Well, I will say this. There's a lot of rumors about Todd Bowles being a head coach. I saw it in New York. Terrible
Yeah.
game management, no feel for offense. He was an in better shape version of Rex Ryan. Let's just be honest. Let's just be honest. That's what it was. Yeah, I mean, but when I watch this game, and there's a feeling that you get with the way that Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford have such a bond. As soon as the game was over, those two were hugging each other. And you're right. What was so frustrating is the Rams beat the hell out of them all game. It wasn't even competitive. It was my one brother was here and he was like, "This is embarrassing. The Rams are just
Yeah.
pushing them around, doing whatever they want." And then the fumble, the turnover, the missed field goal. And I will say this about Sean McVay. I don't know if this is tampering. I don't know what this is. But this offseason, Sean McVay saw Matthew Stafford. They were at a resort together. They were with Matthew Stafford with his wife. Sean McVay was with his wife. The wives went up to the hotel room because they were talking at the bar for 4 hours. At 2 o'clock in the morning, LA time, Sean McVay calls the owner of the Rams and says, "We need to trade for this guy. We're all in. I don't care what it costs." He's talked like an hour on the phone begging him. Next day, the Rams pull the trigger. They make the trade. I've seen videos of Detroit Lions fans miserable because you got Jared Goff. And my question and my point is this. You look at what the Rams done, okay? Matthew Stafford. They go out and they get a stud linebacker from Denver, a Hall of Famer, who's now playing great. They go out and get Odell Beckham Jr. They go out and get Sony Michel. Brad, the NFL is a copycat league. Why am I going to draft a quarterback and defensive players when we could just do what the Rams do? Give up draft picks for proven players, right? Because everyone they picked up last season and in midseason has been an absolute stud. Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey. They have no draft picks left, and they don't care.
You're preaching to the choir, Monty. For the longest time, I have asked why. Like, it's crazy. So this is what the one thing that I've talked about a long time on my show is how at different times of the year, GMs in the NFL values draft picks differently, right? So near the draft, close to the draft, all of a sudden picks become super, super valuable, right? But at other times in the year, they're not so valuable, right? But we know time after time, we've seen it happen. Busts, guys that are can't miss players, fail in the NFL. You will always, 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 I would beg, and I've always begged the Browns to do this, and they've started to kind of do it, but like, give up a draft pick for a known commodity all day, every day. If it's a known commodity, proven NFL player, give up the draft pick for that player, always if it will help you. Always if it will help you. I'm not so much first round picks, but yeah, you know what I mean. You get what I'm saying, right? Like
Yeah.
the unknown versus the known, and the fact that the value of draft picks goes up so much the closer you get to draft. If you're smart about the way you evaluate players and players available on the trade block, you can easily do what they've done with the Rams, and they've done an excellent job of that. You make such a great point of bringing in players by giving up draft picks that are known commodities and fitting them in to a system that works and makes players happy, gives them the ability to find success. And they have just a great culture there, too, because of McVay. McVay's fantastic.
I mean, look at this picture. Like, these guys, they're so invested in one another. They believe in one another. We're going to get into, McVay's, I think, 3-7 against Shanahan. I think he's lost his last 4 or 5 games in a row. But going back to this, Odell Beckham Jr. has been an absolute stud. Von Miller, when he came, was still battling an injury. He wreaked havoc yesterday. He looks amazing. Like, these are guys that they gave a draft pick for. And I said this when the Lakers won the championship. I said it doesn't matter they mortgage their future. They want a title. If the Rams win a title this year or even get to the Super Bowl, it was the right move to make because you're selling tickets. If the Rams go to the Super Bowl in that stadium, can you imagine that atmosphere, what it's going to be like? It's going to be insane. So why not just trade away draft picks for proven commodities who have a track record of success? And listen, Tampa Bay did this last year. They won the Super Bowl, and a lot of players came back on a short-term deal because they wanted to run it back. I wouldn't be surprised if all these high-priced players or players they're getting or free agents, who doesn't want to go to LA and be with the superstars?
Yeah, no question. Absolutely. Play in SoFi Stadium with McVay. Stafford as your quarterback now. Look at Cup as broke all the wide receiver records this year in this offense. And they not only that, being effective in the pass game, but he's committed to the run too. Like he gets the importance of running the football in the NFL. You know what I mean? Like he's talked at length about like just the physical aspect of it. Like sometimes you just got to run the football to make guys get off blocks and make tackles, just to toughen up the game. And he was committed to that, and you saw that yesterday. Like they weren't having a lot of success in the run game, but it's about the attempts, right? It's about keeping them honest and making people get off blocks and play physical ball at times. McVay gets all of that.
Can we talk about this? Because this guy gets doubled and triple teamed every game. He never complains. He never, is yelling, "I've been held." How good people don't realize how good Aaron Donald is.
Yeah, no, I mean it's hard. It's hard when you're an interior defensive lineman to get a ton of credit, but I mean he gets it though, man. Everybody knows, he's as special as he gets on the inside. Maybe the best to ever do it.
Yeah, and listen, the Bills did it. They gave up Stephon Diggs. They gave up a draft pick for Stephon Diggs. All right.
Exactly.
Well, speaking of the Bills, Brad, this was the most incredible game I've ever seen in my life. Like I said, I had the Chiefs winning. I did not want to see it end the way it ended. I do not like the overtime rule. We talked about that. But just talk about Josh Allen for a second. This guy, the former Bill Raftery, the college basketball coach, onions, right? The set of testicles that this guy has. Nothing phases him. Tough as nails. Onions every time I see him. He's amazing.
Yeah, he's outstanding. And honestly, I've been talking about him all year, right? I like the Bills to go to the Super Bowl. I feel bad for him. Like he deserved to win that game. And he came up huge time after time after time. And really, I blame his coach with the 13 seconds, and we can talk about that in a minute.
Yes.
But there's no way that's just a total mismanagement of time in a number of ways. But the Bills will be back. And, the Bills will be back every year because of this guy. This guy is so talented, arm talent-wise. He's become accurate. He makes good decisions. He evades the rush when it comes. He throws the ball away at the right time. He takes chances at the right time. He runs, puts his head down, not afraid to lower his shoulder. I think he gave a defensive back a concussion, lowering his shoulder. This guy is legit as it gets. I think he is just as good as Mahomes, in my opinion.
Yeah, and kind of a different style. What I don't understand, Brad, is I'm watching the game, and every time on third down, you're seeing it, and he's running the ball on like this quarterback draw or end around, and it wasn't until the end of the game that the Chiefs figured it out. I'm like, how do you not have a spy on this guy? He knows when to run. He knows when to throw. And I got to be honest with you, that move that Davis put on that defensive back where he broke his ankles was unbelievable. You said you feel bad. A lot of people said this to me. They said they feel bad for Josh Allen. I don't know what more he could have done.
No, that's the problem, right? This game was so both defensive coordinators I question, right? Like a little bit. So how many times are the Chiefs going to let Gabe Davis get inside leverage on a guy where all he has to do is make an outside move and come back in, right? Like, I think he scored 4 touchdowns on the same move, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then Kelsey scored a touchdown on the same thing, no help to the middle, defender on the outside, runs straight up the seam, throw the ball to the middle, he's wide open, and then he did the same thing to set up the game-winning field goal. Like, I don't understand, like, especially if you're the Bills, like, bracket Kelsey, bracket Hill, make somebody else beat you, right? Where's the help in the middle if you're Kansas City? Like, how many times are you going to let that happen? I know these guys are really good, but some of that was just way too easy, wasn't it? Like, I'm going, where the hell are the safeties in the middle of the field? Where are they?
Well, I will say this. You see, Tyreek Hill, Jared just commented that, Josh Allen, it looks like he's built in Madden. Tyreek Hill, look at this. He's running away from the defenders, and he's putting up a peace sign at full speed.
Absurd.
This guy is so fast. They can't tackle him. He never gets hit by the first time. If you throw it over the middle to him, it's unstoppable. And I'll ask you this question, talking about the Chiefs. Are we looking at the greatest tight end, wide receiver, and quarterback in Hill, Kelsey, and Mahomes in the history of the NFL?
No, I don't think so. I don't think Hill. I don't think you could put Hill up there. I think Hill is amazing and a tremendous specimen of speed, but I don't consider him one of the best wide receivers of all time.
I'm saying as a trio, is it the best?
As a trio, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Kelsey is up there, right, as a tight end, no question. I mean, the catches he made in that game, and he is just a different kind of dude. And Hill, I mean, they were going to double him on that play, right? And all he does is go across the middle of the field, left one dude, see you later. He had no chance. Levi Wallace, I think, just no chance, caught the ball, and then just outran the safety of the corner. I mean, he is so fast. When he starts going, like you said, he was even with the guy going down the sidelines, and he's like, peace. Like, he just, I mean, he's so fast, ridiculous, not even fair. I don't think there's anybody, I haven't seen anybody in the NFL as fast as him in a long time. And
then, Brad, you have guys like Robinson, you have the backup running back. It's like, offensively, everyone can make a play on Kansas City. I mean, and give credit, all the credit in the world to Davis for scoring 4 touchdowns because, like I said, Emmanuel Sanders wasn't even involved in the offense. Stephon Diggs didn't really get involved till late. But I look at this Chiefs team, and one of the reasons why I had them winning is just there's so many weapons. It's ridiculous how good their skill position players are.
It's the only thing I would say about the Bills is that, and Gabriel Davis did it in this situation, but can he do it on a consistent basis? I don't know. I haven't watched closely enough of Gabe Davis. I know he's kind of been in and out of favor with Buffalo, right? Because it was Sanders at one point. It was Beasley at one point. But, like, the difference there is, and the reason he had such a big day is because they were trying to take away Diggs, right? And I think that's why there is that vacancy in the middle of the field. And they just caught on to something that was working there. Is we're going to take Diggs away, right? And he took advantage. But, what Kansas City, and give credit to Andy Reid because, Jerick McKinnon has been around, right?
Yeah.
And it's not like, and he's a super fast athlete, but not everybody has found success for him. Andy Reid found the right way to use him, right? Same thing with some of these wide receivers. He found the right way to get these guys the ball in the right situation. He is a pardon me, a savant at that kind of stuff. But as far as the Bills go, I think they need to add one more weapon on the outside so that you can take some of the pressure off Diggs. Because I don't know if Gabe Davis can do that on a week-to-week basis, but I fully expect, because of Josh Allen, the Bills to be back in the AFC Championship next year.
And again, this is what we talked about with Aaron Rodgers. If Devontae Adams is double teamed, Rodgers kind of pouts and loses his mind, where you saw what Josh Allen did, just take what the defense gives you. So I said this after the game. I said people aren't really going to talk about this because I didn't think anyone really paid attention to it. And then I saw it trending. I said to my dad and the people watching the game here, I said, why would you not squib kick that if you're the Bills? Yeah. Because you gave Patrick Mahomes 2 plays with 2 timeouts left. If you squib kick it, that may be only 1 play. Now, 13 seconds, you think, okay, they can't win. They can't win. There's no way they can win, Brad. 13 seconds, and Mahomes did it. So how much of the blame blame goes to the Bills coaching staff.
Well, yeah, it's got to be their head coach and their special team. Somebody's got to catch that, right?
Right.
I mean, if I get you're caught up in the moment and everything, but 13 seconds, Mahomes, right? They have timeouts, and I'll talk about this in a second too. But once again, these games are won and lost on coaching, situational coaching, and we've talked about it on the show all year. We laugh at like how dumb certain things are. This is one of them, right? 13 seconds left. It doesn't even have to be a squib kick because there's a chance that bounces funny and goes out of bounds, whatever. Just don't kick it through the end zone.
Yeah.
Just kick it in the field of play. They catch it. They have to return it, whatever. And they only get one play. They only get one play out of it. Also, the Bills came out and lined up covering the sidelines when the Chiefs have 3 timeouts. Just some of that stuff is a little silly, right? Like, come on.
I mean, that to me was really, the pinpoint. But that to me was really like, okay, is this the difference between a coach like a Bill Belichick who prepares for everything and
Yes.
someone who never really thought, hey, if there's 13 seconds left, what are we doing?
We can't give him a chance to get 2 plays off.
Right. And my mind was going too fast there. I wasn't articulating what I wanted to say. Going back to the Super Bowl against Seattle, right? Seattle completes that ball, and everyone's expecting Bill Belichick to call a timeout. We found out they practiced that slant, and they knew that they weren't going to hand the ball off, and they're all telling the defensive back, this is coming to you. This is coming to you, because they practiced it 17 times that week. So I'm not taking anything away from the entire Bills coaching staff. They are, as far as I'm concerned, what they did with Josh Allen, his development, they're elite. Their defense was number 1 in almost every category. But you can pinpoint where the all-time great coaches are and maybe a mistake that this guy made. But even elite coaches, Greg Popovich against the Miami Heat, he took out Tim Duncan. Okay, Chris Bosh gets the rebound, throws it to Ray Allen. He hits a 3. And why was Tim Duncan not in the game in time and score possession? So are you saying, hey, man, you made a big mistake there?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's part of the reason I felt so bad for Josh Allen is because to me it's just a simple situational mistake. There's no way that you should have given them that chance to get into field goal range. 13 seconds. 13 seconds. You just kick it in the field of play and you're going to end up with 7 or 8 probably, right? And the game's over.
All right, Brad. Before we get to the AFC Championship and the final, talk with Brad here on the Brad Ward here on the Full Monty Sports Show. We're going to be off next Monday. We'll be back the following Monday for the preview. I have a charity event on Monday. I will not be able to attend this show. But I will say this. If you had to pick one quarterback for the next 5 years, one wide receiver, and one running back, can you do it all with the Cincinnati Bengals in Joe Burrow, Chase, and their running back? Or who would you pick?
No, I would pick Josh Allen as my quarterback.
Okay.
For sure. I might pick Chase. Yeah, I might. I gotta. He's amazing. He's incredible, right? There's no question about it. But I don't know if he's like the best there is out there, right? You know what I mean? I do think that what he did this year puts him in like top 5, but I don't know if I would pick him overall. And I definitely wouldn't pick Joe Mixon as my running back. But I'll get your point. I'll get your point. They're loaded.
Right.
What's that?
Okay. So who would be your wide receiver? Devontae Adams?
Potentially Adams. I mean, what can you say about Cooper Kupp? I mean, seriously, how old is Cooper Kupp?
That's a good point. Yeah, he's 28, I think.
I mean, that guy just knows how to run routes and get open, and he catches everything that hits his hand. So,
Yeah, he's 28.
Yeah, I mean, it would be hard not to go his way. But I see your point. I think like a healthy DeAndre Hopkins is in the mix, guys like that. But yeah, Devontae Adams is up there definitely. I mean, how about the catch he made off the ground the other day?
And another bad throw by Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why I bring that up is, we talked about Travis Kelsey, Patrick. Well, we didn't even bring up Clyde Edwards-Helaire, who's kind of been out of the mix. But I look at this Bengal team going into this AFC Championship game, and they are loaded. You said it, I think, in like week 8 or 9. You said, man, their skill position players are really good.
Yeah. I mean, they already have what we're talking about, right? Like, you're gonna double chase, sure. We'll go to T. Higgins all
Yeah.
day. I mean, he's almost just as good. And then if you want to cover him, we'll go to Tyler Boyd because he's fantastic as well. They have a tremendous wide receiver group. Joe Mixon has been healthy for the first time in his career. He's running the football great. He's great out of the backfield. So yeah, and with Joe Burrow's moxie, you never know. I mean, I fully expect this game to be kind of close, actually.
Yeah, and listen, for the first time ever on my show, I have Cincinnati Bengal rule the jungle in the background. So this is the
Oh,
first.
look
This
at
is the
that!
first for me. This is the first for me. Okay,
I might cry, Monty. This
I
is
know.
terrible.
I know.
This
As a
is so
Cleveland
terrible.
Brown fan.
So it's so hard to talk about the Bengals like this.
But you do have some sort of. I mean, you like Joe Burrow, right, as a player?
Oh, I absolutely think he's phenomenal. I think he's great for the sport. I think he's amazing. I'm envious of what they have going on in Cincinnati. More than anything, I'm surprised that like we knew they had the pieces parts, right? The talent on the outside, Mixon, who hadn't been healthy long enough, really. You know what I mean? Until
Right.
this year. But this is what I meant by like Burrow's moxie and his leadership taking him over the top. I mean, even to the defensive side of the ball, where guys are just playing over their heads on defense, right? And they've been fantastic. I mean, their defense has been very good as well. So, and they made some strange moves in free agency, like they chose not to keep Carl Lawson
Yeah.
and to go out and sign Hendrickson. They chose not to sign their top corner. His name's escaping me now, and go out and sign Mike Hilton. But those have all worked out for him.
Yeah.
So
And
really strange.
I think a lot of people are upset because my brother was a Saints and he couldn't stand Eli Apple. Right? Giant fans couldn't stand Eli Apple. All of a sudden, Eli Apple, going to your point, is making plays, playing in the defensive backfield. He was terrible on the Saints.
He
He
was
was terrible
awful,
on the Giants.
awful. Yeah.
All right, so give us your prediction for this game.
I think the Chiefs win. I think they're just too much right now. I expect it to be a close game that the Chiefs pull away in the fourth quarter. I think it'll be exciting, high scoring. But, I do think that Mahomes, he's been here before, he's lost here before, and he's won here before. And that's just the difference in this game for me.
But
Experience.
you think it's gonna be competitive, right?
I do. I think it'll be competitive into the fourth quarter, and I think that I think probably, what's the spread on this game? Do we know?
I think it's 7 right now.
Yeah, so that sounds about right. I would probably go Kansas City to cover because I think it'll be like a one-score game going into the fourth quarter, and then Mahomes and them maybe get a touchdown to win by 2 scores or something like that late in the fourth quarter. But I think it's close all the way to the end.
Yeah, I think it's definitely going to be close. And yeah, right now it's 7, Brad. So it's 7. I'm going to save my prediction for the Sunday show. Listen, McVay 3-7 against his best friend Kyle Shanahan. I think they've lost 4 or 5 in a row. But I got to get the feeling that this is a different Rams team. I'm leaning towards the Ram here. Vegas has us as the Rams by a 3.5-point favorite. So it's actually a toss-up because anytime it's 3 points and a team is home, it's a push. So Vegas is saying they don't know who's going to win this game. Bosa is just a man possessed. Debo Samuel's unstoppable. They've been running the ball very well. So when Kittle has to, he makes plays, but he hasn't been like targeted for 7 to 10, 12, 15 catches like we've seen him do. Who do you like in this game and why?
I actually, I know that San Francisco has won a couple in a row, and I don't know who to root for. I actually like both of these teams and both of these coaches, so I think it's a great matchup. Third time they face each other. I actually think in LA, right? This is in LA at SoFi. They'll finally get a good turnout for the playoffs, right? Fans all, they got no nightclub. This will be the event of the night. So they'll actually have fans there. be loud like they have been so far. And I think that I like the Rams just the way they're put together defensively, offensively. I don't know if they get in a groove that San Francisco can score with them. I don't. I think San Francisco has to win a game that is a kind of a slugfest, right?
2017, time of possession.
Yep, and that's what they turned this Green Bay into. And then the weather helped, right? They turned it into a slugfest because they will beat you up, right? Like they're full of tough guys and they want to get physical and they want to play good defense and they want to beat you that way. And I think if they can keep the game close, I think San Francisco could find a way to pull it out, but I don't know if they can keep it close till late. I like the Rams. I like the Rams.
One of the things that I was so impressive, and I said this before, I said the Green Bay Packer defense is not going to get pushed around, and that was big because I think the Rams defense is better than the Green Bay Packers defense, and for some reason, this 49er offense didn't dominate the Green Bay Packers defensively. The Packers punched them back. I think this Rams defense is much better than what the Packers had to offer, and I'm not going to give away my pick, but I'm leaning towards it's hard to beat a team 3 times, Brad. It really is.
It is. And they've won a lot of times in a row, right? It's hard to beat a team 3 times, and they know each other so well, and these coaches know each other so well. So it really will be a chess match. I think even though the Rams are a better team, the magic of Shanahan is that he finds a way to win anyways, right? So it'll be really intriguing matchup, you know?
Yeah. Shanahan has impressed me over the last second half of the season, the way he's winning with a quarterback who makes mistakes. Brad, finally, right now it's 50-50, my Knicks against your Cleveland Cavaliers. How impressed are you with the Cleveland Cavaliers right now?
I'm enjoying it. You know, they lost Lauri Markkanen. It's not as bad as they thought. Surprisingly, when they picked him up in free agency, I was like, are you kidding me, right? You're going to take Chicago's trash, but he's actually played really well. You know, they put a bunch of long, lengthy guys together. Garland is playing as good as any guard in the league right now. So they've been so much fun to watch. And it's not, in Cleveland, we got so used to the LeBron years where it was ISO, right? Irving and LeBron just back and forth. And they play team basketball. Jared Allen's been really good. Kevin Love has taken his role off the bench and been very gracious about it and actually been performing really well. So they're a lot of fun to watch, and it'll be the first Cavs team without LeBron to get in the playoffs since like 1998 or something like that. So
Garland's averaging, I think, 20 and 8 and distributing the ball. Are they going to make a deal? What do they need? Are they just going to stay the course and say, let's just build with youth?
No, I think they make a deal, especially now with Markkanen out. I think they may need to accelerate that trade deadline deal and maybe do it a little sooner. But they need a 3-and-D guy. I know they have Okoro, right? But he just has not. He's playing better, but they need another guy like that, right? Like they need another guy that can guard and shoot the ball. They need more shooting surrounding Mobley and Jarrett Allen, because they've got the guard play, right? For the most part, Lamar Stevens has filled in nicely. I know he's a no name, but they're a lot of fun to watch it, and they brought on Rondo. So
yeah,
I've always liked Rondo. He's fun to watch. But boy, do they miss Ricky Rubio.
Yeah, Ricky Rubio was having a phenomenal year. Brad, how much has Kevin Love positivity and how much of a leadership role has he taken with Evan Mobley?
Yeah, he's been fantastic. He kind of just went through the motions, I feel like, for a couple years, and people in Cleveland were really kind of on his case about that, but he's really stepped up, taken a leadership role. Him and Rubio were the leaders of that team, honestly, before he got hurt. So he's doing a nice job. He's been here before. He's been a part of winning teams. I think he's having fun with it, too.
Final question. Were you happy when they drafted this stud? And has he exceeded your expectations, Evan Mobley, or has he lived up to the hype that you thought for him?
I was happy with the pick. I thought it was a good pick, but no way in my wildest dreams did I expect him to be as good as he's been so far. I mean, he plays like a 5-6 year veteran in his prime. I mean, he's fantastic. Does it at both ends. Rarely makes mistakes. He's been tremendous.
Yeah, averaging 15 and 8, the rookie from USC. All right, Brad, we'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks so much for coming on. I know how much you enjoy this as much as I do to talk all sorts of NFL. What's happening with your podcast? What's happening with All Eyes on Cleveland now that the offseason has started?
Yeah, now that the off season started, I took a little break there, just some time off to watch the playoffs and stuff. But we'll be, Baker had his surgery. We'll be firing up some round table, multiple guests. Maybe Monte, if you want to hop on one of these, we're gonna do some off season round table discussions about the future of the Browns at the quarterback position and elsewhere. They need wide receivers. They need defensive. Their interior defensive lineman got arrested. A guy they took a chance on played really well for him this year. So they've got some holes to fill on a talented roster. You got to figure out a way to straighten it out this year.
Brad, final question. Someone just texted me, my friend Bill. What is that figurine you got in the background there?
That's Chomps, man.
Oh, what is that?
Okay, it's Chomps. Hold on. Here's Harrison Bryant signed
Nice.
Little mini helmet. This is Chomps. This is the Browns. It's the Browns
That's
mascot.
awesome. Yeah, well, we couldn't see it. Everyone was asking. Yeah,
That's Chomps. See, right there, 0-0 Chomps.
I love that. I love that. All right, Brad. So happy with all your success. I know your podcast is really taking off with subscribers, all that good stuff. Always a pleasure to have you on, my friend.
Thank you, Monte. I always have a blast, and we'll talk soon, buddy.
All right, Brad. Thanks so much. That was Brad Ward, All Eyes on Cleveland. Always does a tremendous job coming on. Again, Amarie wanted to come on. She had to do something with her nephew last minute. She couldn't make it. She wishes everyone well. She said she misses everyone, and she'll be back in 2 weeks. We'll be on Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time, and then we're taking off Monday. Like I said, I have a charity event, but we will be here Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure to subscribe. Make sure to give us a thumbs up. And in the immortal words of Arnold Schwarzenegger, I'll be back. You have a record that will never be broken.
You can't trip on that.
They hit big shots with Luka. I think the Clippers have no idea. Oh, look at that reaction. Look at that reaction.